Hello students. The topic which we are going to discuss today, that is master budget. In our previous session we have discussed about budgeting process. Today we are going to discuss about what is master budget, what are the classifications of master budget, overview of the master budget, then how to prepare operating budget, then advantages of master budget and disadvantages of master budget. So these are the areas which we are going to discuss today. So first of all, we are going to discuss what is master budget. Yes. So master budget is master budget is a document. So what is master budget? It is a document that integrates, means it coordinates, it sums up all the individual budgets prepared by the different departments within the company. This is important. So this is a bigger document which integrates, which includes all the budgets. Those are prepared by the different departments within one company. So master budget is covering all aspects related to the whole company. Individual budgets are covering the individual aspects about their particular departments. So what we are going to achieve by having master budget, it helps to coordinate the activities of different departments like sales, purchasing, production and other divisions, and provide top management with a tool to monitor the company's progress and to take corrective actions if required. So it means it is a document which is providing the summary about all the budgets those are prepared within the different departments of the organization. By having that, the top management can evaluate, can gauge the progress, actual progress of the company with what was intended. And if there is any discrepancy, then they can take a corrective actions. So master budget includes what is budgeted income statement, budgeted balance sheet, and budgeted statement of cash flow. So the budgeted financial statements, so all these documents are part of the financial statements. So all the budgeted financial statements, when combined, it is called master budget. Annual, or it is also called annual profit plan. Okay, so it covers one financial period and it has budgeted income statement, budgeted balance sheet, and budgeted statement of cash flows. So let's discuss the classifications of master budget. Master budget has two classifications. One is called operating budget. What is operating budget? Operating budgets are used to identify the resources that we needed to carry out the planned activities during the budget period. So it identifies the resources we needed to carry out the planned activities during what? During the budget period, which is mostly 1 year. So it is giving information about sales, services, productions, purchasing, marketing, R&D, etc. So operating budgets, once compiled, it is called budgeted income statement. So operating budget includes budgeted income statement and all its respective workings. Then we have financial budget. So financial budget includes capital expenditure budget, cash budget, budgeted balance sheet, and budgeted statement of cash flows. In today's session, our major discussion would be about how to prepare operating budget. The aspects of financial budget we will discuss in our next session. So it means today's session is about the general overview of the master budget, about its merits and demerits, and how to prepare operating budget, which includes budgeted income statement and its relevant other budgets. So overview of the master budget is, first of all, the first point is the starting point to construct, to prepare the master budget is sales budget. So first of all, we will prepare sales budget. By having the data of sales budget, we will prepare the production budget. So once we have prepared the production budget, then by having the data of production budget, we can prepare direct material usage budget. So once we have direct material usage budget, then we will prepare direct material purchase budget by having the data of what we have used in direct material usage budget. Then from production budget, we will prepare direct labor budget. From the production budget data, we will prepare FOH budget. So from all these budgets data which we have in these budgets, it helps us to prepare cash budget. Production budget also helps us to develop the ending inventory budget. So here we have two sides arrows. So these are interrelated with each other. Both are using the information from each other. Okay. Now sales budget also helps us to prepare selling and admin expenses budget. So this budget also gives us the information to prepare cash budget. Now you may have noticed that sales budget, production budget, ending inventory budget, direct material usage budget, direct material purchase budget, direct labor budget, FOH budget. So all these are part of what? Operating budgets. So first of all, we will prepare the operating budgets. Then we will use the information which we have in operating budget to prepare our cash budget, and all operating budgets information, like there is an arrow used to prepare budgeted income statement. So once we have prepared the budgeted income statement, the informations of budgeted income statement and cash budget and the opening balance which we have about from previous year about the balance sheet are going to be used to prepare the budgeted balance sheet. So this is the linkage of, and this is the overview of the master budget. So first of all, we will prepare the operating budgets, and the starting point would be sales budget. Okay. Now we are going to discuss operating budget. So operating budget is all about to prepare budgeted income statement. To prepare the budgeted income statement, the first of all, the first budget which we will prepare, that is sales budget. By having information of sales budget, we will produce production budget. So the informations which we have used in sales budget, we will discuss about all these budgets one by one later on, will be used to produce the production budget. Then production budget data will be used to produce direct material usage budget. Then direct material usage budget data will be used to prepare the direct material purchase budget. Then direct material, then we will prepare direct labor budget. For that thing, we will use again the production budget data. So the linkage would be like this is used for this, then production budget is used for direct material usage budget, then direct material usage budget is used for what? Direct material purchase budget, and then production budget will be used for what? Direct labor budget. Then we will prepare FOH budget. For that purpose, again, production budget data will be used. Then we will prepare cost of goods sold budget. Again, all these budgets will be used to prepare the cost of goods sold budget. Then we will prepare ending finished goods inventory budget. Again, these information will be used for this budget. And then we will prepare selling and admin expenses budget. For that thing, we will mostly use the data of sales budget. Okay, so in this way we will prepare our all budgets by one in a sequence, and once we have prepared all these budgets, then we would be able to prepare our budgeted income statement. So this is the agenda of today's major discussion, that how we will prepare all these budgets. We will discuss their formats, the pattern, and one simple illustration I will take, and we will discuss the things by solving that simple illustration. So first of all, the starting point is, what is starting point? Sales budget, to develop a master budget. Because why? It provides the basis to develop other operating budgets, as we discussed in previous slide. Now, normally people are saying that it is based on the estimates, but this is the budget which is the most difficult budget. Because if the basis of sales budget would be inaccurate, then all other budgets would not be accurate, because sales budget is a starting point for the preparation of what? Master budget, and all other operating budgets are based on the data of sales budget. So to prepare a budget, the most important to prepare a master budget, the most important budget is sales budget. And here we have too many estimations. So there is a need of experts. Those will provide the possible accurate data. I'm not asking that it will always be 100% accurate, but it should be possible. Over there you have a need of sales department's expert and marketing department's expert. Those can forecast the sales for the upcoming time period. So this is the most important budget. How we will prepare it? This is the format. Let's assume I'm taking the example with of the organization which have 3 different product lines. For question purpose, if you are supposed to solve the questions, it's not a bit difficult budget, because its major assumptions will be given to you during your exam. So look, let's assume product A, its budgeted sales in units, I'm assuming that, say, 100 units. How many units? 100 units. Product B, 200 units. And for product C, again, 100 units. So this is the budgeted units in sale. Its selling price, say it's 100. its selling price is again 100 and its selling price is say 200. So these are the selling price. So total budgeted sales revenue would be 10,000. Okay, 20,000 and 20,000. So in total, your total budgeted revenue for the next accounting period would be 50,000. Now this figure would be part of your budgeted income statement. So the budgeted sales budget is providing us the starting point. Now, after having sales budget, now we have got the information about sales budget, we will prepare next production budget. So this is the second budget which is going to be prepared in your budgeting development process. So it is based on the information of sales budget. Keep in mind your production budget will be in units. So budgeted sales we will take from our sales budget. Let's check again how many we have. 100, 200 and 100 respectively. So 100, 200 and 100, these are we have respectively. Let's assume we are planning that for finished goods ending inventory, we need 0 units for product A. Let's assume 50 units for product B and say 100 units for product C. And it's our first year of operation, so we don't have any opening inventory. Previous time period, finished goods, closing inventory would be opening inventory here. So I'm assuming here 0, again 0, and again 0. So add finished goods ending inventory and subtract opening inventory. Then you will calculate your production budget. This is something normally when you are preparing your income statement, you are subtracting closing inventories and adding opening inventories. But in budget, you have some opposite workings. So total budgeted production for product A is 100, for product B is 250, and for product C, it is again 200. I am assuming all these figures, and this is very easy example just for the understanding purpose. Now we have prepared the production budget. Next budget which we will prepare, that is direct material usage budget. So direct material usage budget tells us about the amount and quantity. Now, keep in mind, in your sales budget, we have quantity and amount, both things, but in your production budget, we have only quantity. But in your direct material usage budget, we have amount and quantity of what? Direct material that will be used during the next accounting period to produce what? The budgeted quantity of products, which we have calculated in previous slide. So it is based on information of what? Production budget. So production budget information will help us to produce our direct material usage budget. Let's start. We are using 2 materials. Like, I'm making some assumptions again here. One sorry. We need 1 unit of material X for all products, but for material Y, for product A, we need 1 unit. Product, product B, we need 0.5 units of material Y. And for product C, we need again 2 units of material Y. We are using 2 materials to produce our 3 products. Let's do the calculation. How much production units we have, which we will take from our previous budget. Production budget, we have 100, 250 and 200. So 100, 250 and 200. This is the information which we got from our previous budget. So for material X, we will multiply with 1 because we have decided that for material X, we are using 1 unit of material X for all products. So it is equal to 100, it is equal to 250, and it is equal to 200. But for material Y, we will do the calculation. It will be multiplied with what? With their respective ratio, 1 for product A, 0.5 for product B, and 2 for product C. So 2 times 200 is equal to 400. 250 times 0.5 is equal to 125. 100 times 1 is equal to 100. So in total, how much quantity will be used for product A of both materials? That is 200. Sorry, I will use the different calculator to elaborate this. It is let's assume this is 200 and this is 125 plus 250, 375, and this is 600 units. This is the total for every product line of both materials. But how much quantity will be used for every product line? That is sum of for every material. So 200, 200, 100, 500 and 50 for material X, and 400, 100 and 100, 625 for material Y. So this is the quantity usage, and the sum of these two would be 6 plus 5, 1175. So this is the total quantity which will be used. Now, its cost can be divided into 2 categories. Whether we have any opening material, let's assume we don't have opening material inventory because it is our first year of production. So the cost will be associated to all the material which is we are going to purchase. We don't have opening inventory. Let's assume the Purchase price. Purchase price for material X is, say, rupees or $10, and for material Y it is again rupees 10. So cost of material purchase would be 550 times 10 is equal to 5,500, and for this 6,250, which is equal to 625 times 10. So in this way, we have calculated the total cost of material purchase. So in this way, cost budget will be prepared. So its total figure would be 5 plus 6, 11,750, and here total would be 11,750, because we have assumed that we don't have any opening inventory. But if we have opening inventory, then we will bifurcate it. Now, by having the material usage budget, we can now produce material purchase budget. Okay. It is a budget which tells us about the amount and quantity of direct material that will be purchased during the next accounting period. It is based on the information derived from what? Direct material usage budget. Let's do the calculation. Units to be used in production, we will derive from what? Previous slide. How many units? 550 and 625. So 550 for material X and 625 for material Y, and total 1175. So these informations we got from what? From our previous budget, which was direct material usage budget. Now, opening inventory we assumed over there that we don't have. Let's assume we required 50 units. So this is again assumption. 50 units of material X inventory, 75 units of material Y inventory. Okay. So in total quantity of material to be purchased, 600 units will be purchased for material X and 700 units will be purchased for material Y, and total units would be 1300. Those would be purchased. So total quantity to be purchased we have already assumed, which is we have calculated, which is 600, 700, and in total 1300. So we will multiply it with their purchase price, which we have already assumed. How much purchase price was? It's it's rupees 10. So times 10 times 10 times 10. So it would be 6,000 total cost for material X, which we are supposed to purchase, 7,000 for material Y, and in total it is 13,000. Okay. Now discuss direct labor budget. So again, it tells us about the amount and hours of direct labor. Amount and hours of direct labor we are supposed to require for the next accounting period to accomplish our production plan. So for this budget, we will use the information of what? Production budget. Let's discuss how it will work. I have assumed that we need two sort of labors, but here in this calculation, to ease down the calculations, I am assuming that we required only skilled labor. Production, we have already decided in our production budget, which is 100, 250, and 200. So here I'm doing working. So, sorry. We required how many production of units? A, 100 units. For product B, we need 250 and 200 for product C. $250 and 200. So let's assume we required for material A, here I'm going to do the workings, we required 1.5 direct labor hours of skilled labor. So 1.5 times units of production 100 equals to 150 hours required of skilled labor for product A. For product B, it is 1 hour times 250. So it requires how many hours in total? 250 hours. Now for product C, let's assume it's 2 hours. So 200 times 2 equals to 400. So in total, how many hours we required? So it is 800. But if we required unskilled labor, so it will depend upon the information of the question. Then we will do also the calculation about unskilled labors. So it is 150 here, 250 here, and 400 here, and total 800. I'm again repeating that we have assumption that we need only one labor, which is skilled labor. Now total hours we have already calculated, which is 800 for skilled labor. Let's assume the rate is $5. So times 5, whatsoever the currency, either it's rupees or dollars or whatsoever. So in total, it is how much total cost is? 4,000. In this way, we have calculated the amount and hours required of labor, direct labor for the next accounting period. Now, budgeted production overheads cost, which is also called factory overheads cost. Here we have details of, and these will be you will get from the different departments by having what the previous trends we have, and along with that the estimates which you have. Let's assume for product A, we required indirect labor cost 2,000. For product B, nothing. For product C, it's 1,000. So in total indirect labor cost would be 3,000. just want to see one working here. Okay. So for indirect material, we required 500 for product A, 500 for product B, and nothing for product C. I'm just assuming these figures. So in total, it's 1000, and total is 4000 of variable cost. Then we have depreciation related, like it could be depreciation of machinery or building or whatsoever. Uh, so let's assume we have only machinery depreciation. Say it is 1000 for product A, 2000 for product B, and 1000 for product C, and we have factory rent which is apportioned to these different uh, product lines, but in total it is, say, 4000, and it is apportioned in this way: 2000 for product A, 1000 for product B, and 1000 for product C. So in total, it's again 4000. We don't have any supervisor, so nil this, and in total FOH is 8000. So this is the budget. So total factory overheads cost would be 12,000. Okay. Now we need to calculate overhead absorption rate, which is based on budgeted cost divided by budgeted base. In my lecture about absorption costing, I have elaborated about the basis, but here we are assuming that direct labor hours is our base. So first of all, we will calculate variable cost OAR. Variable OAR is equal to budgeted cost, which is 4000 divided by budgeted base. We have already calculated how many hours required, 800. So is equal to rupees 5 per hour. Okay. Same we will do for fixed. So fixed FOH OAR is equal to 8000 total cost, budgeted cost divided by budgeted base, which is 800, is equal to rupees 10 per hour of what? Labor hour, because we have assumed that our base is direct labor hours. For total FOH, total FOH OAR is equal to 12,000 divided by 800 is equal to rupees 15 per hour, which is, so in this way, we first of all we need to add up all the FOH costs, then we need to calculate OARs. This is important. So in this way, we have prepared our production overheads budget. Then ending inventory budget. Now, first of all, we need to calculate what? We need to discuss what is the quantity and the total cost of raw material inventory and finished goods inventory. This is important. For these two things, we need to get the information from our previous budgets. So first of all, we will calculate the total cost per unit of what? Finished goods inventory. Number one, come towards direct material. This is production budget. From here we will get ending inventory figure 50 and 100. We don't have inventory of product A. So 50 and 100. Purchase price for both materials we have decided how many? 10. And units we have decided how many? 1 of material X and 0.5 this figure and 2 respectively for 2. So first of all, we will move towards for product A we don't need. For product B, direct material cost, here we have two types of material. So for every material we need to calculate. First of all, material X, then material Y. So per unit price, material X we have 10 times how many units required? 1 is equal to 10. For material Y, price is 10, but how many units required for product B? 0.5. So it is equal to 5. Now come to product C. Here we need to write down the finished goods inventory. We have nothing for product A. For product B, we have decided how many units finished goods inventory? 50 and 100 respectively. So 50 and 100. These figures we got from what? Production budget. Now these purchase price per unit we got from where? From our material budget. So here purchase price is again 10, units required 1, and here units required 2. 10 times 2 and 10 times 1. So 10 and 20. Okay. Now we need requirement of direct labor cost. But to do that, first of all, we will do about overheads because we have these informations. So OAR rate, we have calculated how much? 15. Now we'll check how many labor hours required for every product, which we will get from our direct labor budget. 1 and 2 for product B1 and for product C2. So 1 and 2, this is important. So OAR rate is calculated 15 times 1 and here 15 times 2. So is equal to 30 and is equal to 15. Now labor rate we already know from our direct labor budget, that is 5 times 1 hours required of direct labor hours is equal to 5 and here 5 times R, which is 2, equals to uh, again 10. Let's confirm again from direct labor budget. It's 1 and 2 R's we confirmed from there. Now we have calculated per unit cost. So total per unit cost is sum of these four figures: 15 material, labor 520 plus 15 F, which is equal to 35, and here 30 plus 40 is equal to 70. So costs we have calculated. Now 50 times 35 is equal to 50 times 35. Let's do the calculation. 50 times 35 equals to 1750. Quantity we have how much? 50, 100 multiplied by their per unit cost, which is 70, sorry, is equal to 1750, and this is 7,000. So this is the value of finished goods inventory. Now, raw material. Let's come towards purchase budget. We require 50 units of material X and 75 units of material Y, but and the purchase price per unit is 10. So 50 and 75 multiplied by their unit price, which is 10, 10 is equal to 500 and is equal to 750. So for raw material, its total is equal to 1250, and in total, its total would be 1250 plus 1750 plus 7,000. Let's do the calculation. I believe it's in total 10,000. So total finished goods inventory would be how much? 10,000, which is bifurcated into raw material inventory and finished goods inventories. So after having that budget, we are going to prepare the cost of goods sold budget. Opening inventory nil, we have assumed. Then budgeted production cost. Keep in mind this, what we will use the per unit cost which we have calculated for finished goods inventory. Multiply by with their respective units of production. So production units we will get from where? From production budget. So 100, 250 and 200. 100, 250 and 200. So these are the figures of our production. So 100, 250 and sorry, 100 units for product A, 250 for product B, and 200 for product C. This was the budgeted production. So direct material cost per unit we will calculate from, will get from here. So direct material per unit for product B, we have how much? 15. So for product B, it's 15. For product C, it's 30. So I'm writing down the information which we have already calculated. Direct labor, we have 5, 10, 5 and 10 respectively. Here we have 5 and here we have 10. Then FOH 15 and 30. 15 and 30. Now for product A, because we don't have ending inventory, we are supposed to calculate per unit cost again because we have production, but in ending inventory we don't made a calculation because we don't have finished goods inventory. Now let's discuss about product A data for everything. Start with material. So direct material requirement for product A of material Y is 1 and for material X is again 1. So 1 unit required of material X and 1 unit required of material Y to produce 1 unit of product A. Okay. So for this, direct material cost is 10 because per unit cost of both material 1 X and Y is 10. So in 10 total 20. 10 plus 10. 10 of material X and 10 of material Y. So per unit cost is 20 for direct material cost. Then we will talk about direct labor cost per unit. So we need only skilled labor for product A, which requires 1.5 hours. So for 1 unit, how many hours required? 1.5, and the rate of per hour is 5. So 1.5 times 5 equals to 7.5. So this is 7.5. So this is what production budget cost we are preparing here. Why we can't make it earlier? Because we don't have data about per unit cost. But for FOH, again we required how many hours of labor? 5, and FOH 1.5, and FOH rate we have calculated absorption under our production overheads. We have calculated the rate of total 15. We can bifurcate it into fixed and variable, but here we will take 15 multiply by hours required how many? 1.5. So 15 times 1.5. 22.5. So this is 22.5. Now we have data of per unit cost. Now we will multiply it with their respective production units, which is 100 for product A equals to 2000, 100 equals to 750, and 22.5 equals to 100. So in total, it is 100 times 22.5, so 2250. For product B, 250. So times 250 times 250 and times 250. So 250 times 15 equals to 3750, 3750, and again 5 times 250 equals to 1250. Then 15 times 250 is equal to 3750. Then 200 for product C, so we will multiply with the per unit cost. So 6,000, 2,000, and again 6,000. So we will make the total of all these figures, which is 14,000, which is 3750 plus 3750 plus 1250 equals to 8750, and this is 2000 plus 750 plus 2250 equals to 5000, and sum of all these would be 5000 plus 8750 plus 14,000 equals to 27,750. So 27,750 is the total cost of goods available for sale minus budgeted ending inventory, which we have figures calculated previously of what? Finished goods. Which is 1750 and 7,000 respectively. So this is 1750 and this is 7,000 respectively. So here it would be the total cost of goods sold. So 5,000, 7,000, and again 7,000. So total cost of goods sold would be 7 plus 7 plus 5 is equal to 19,000. Okay. This is important Projected cost per unit of closing inventory of current period will be opening inventory per unit cost of budgeted cost of goods sold statement, which we have previously. So this will help to calculate opening inventory figure if we have. So per unit cost, as I discussed earlier, we will use which we have uh, calculated to calculate the closing finished goods inventory figure. So our cost of goods sold is 17,000. Now we have all the data uh, but we don't have, we are supposed to discuss about non-manufacturing overheads budget. So this is about sales related data, selling and marketing and distribution expenses, R&D related data, research and development, selling, marketing and distribution budget, which we will calculate from different areas, then administrative and general expenses budget, and then if we have any other expense or other source of revenues like interest income or interest expense, we will use that. But over here, we need to understand sales department relevant all expenses which we will get from the data of your sales department. From the data, we will make the best possible estimates by having the previous year's data. And for administrative and general overheads, all other departments like HR department, IT, legal, accounts department, so all their relevant expenses will be considered as administrative and general expenses. So all these informations will be used to prepare their relevant figures of budget. Here, important thing is for everyone, we need to break down it between variable and fixed costs. Let's assume selling budget, we sum up all the figures like we have done under FOH budget, then we will calculate their respective rates for variable and for fixed. We are supposed to break down. Why? Because fixed remains constant in flexible budget, which we will discuss later on, but variable cost will be adjusted under your flexible budget, which we will discuss later on. In our any other session when we will talk about flexible budget. Okay, so in this way we will now we have got all the information. Now we will prepare our budgeted income statement. First of all, from sales budget we will prepare, we will get the figures for sales revenue. Let's come again on sales budget slide. Which is 10,000, 20,000 and 20,000, in total 50,000. So sales budget is equal to 10,000, 20,000, 20,000 and in total 50,000. Now cost of sales we will get from previous slide, 5,000, 7,000 and 7,000. So 5,000, 7,000 and 7,000. In total 19,000. So our total gross profit would be 31,000, which is 13,000 for product C and 13,000 for product B and 5,000 for product A. Let's assume, I'm assuming the figures about non-manufacturing budget that we have only selling and admin expense here 1000, here 2000, here 2000, so in total 5000, so that we will subtract, so it's 4000, 11,000, and again 11,000, so in total it would be 26,000. Let's assume we don't have any interest expense and we don't have any other income. If we have, uh, we have any estimate about of these, we will put the figures. So our net profit is 26,000 in total, 11,000, 11,000, and 4,000 for each product line. So this is the budgeted profit for next accounting period. So keep in mind, this is budgeted income statement which we have prepared. Budgeted income statement is something, there is a minor difference between pro forma income statement and budgeted income statement. And in master budget, we are preparing budgeted income statement. In or any other session, we will discuss the difference between budgeted income statement and pro forma income statement. So, but here I'm giving you the hint. Budgeted income statement are the figures in a master budget, which is subdivided into operating budget and financial budget. The figures of budgeted income statement or master budget will be used for a variance analysis comparison, but for the pro forma income statements budget will not, figures will not be used. So in one accounting period, you are making different, on different assumptions, different pro forma income statements, but the one which will, you will opt out as a part of your master budget, that will be your budgeted income statement. So in this way, we have discussed today the way, the procedures, the methodologies which we are supposed to use to prepare our operating budgets, which is one section of master budget. Now, for question point of view, for different certifications or for different qualifications, students may have uh, multiple choice questions about this topic. Let's assume in one multiple choice question, he is asking to calculate the quantity of direct material usage budget. And if he gave you the data about sales budget, so in sequence, you are supposed to prepare what? First sale budget, then production budget, then material usage budget you will prepare. Or if he will ask you to prepare direct material purchase budget quantity, there is a possibility that he may give you the production budget data. From there, you will just do, you will calculate usage budget figures. Then from there, you will calculate purchase budget figures. But there is a possibility in that case, your calculations would be lengthy, that he may have given you the sales budget data, and from there he may ask you to calculate the direct material purchase budget. So in that way, you are supposed to do the calculations in a sequence. But most of the cases, he will give you the production budget data. From there, he may ask you to calculate either material purchase budget, usage budget, or he may ask you to calculate labor budget or FH budget. So in this way, this sequence is very important. You have to keep in mind. So this was the discussion about what is the sequence and what are the performance, which I have elaborated to you guys with a very simple example. Now, uh, we are supposed to discuss what are the advantages we have by having master budget. So the first advantage, if we have master budget, it works as a motivational tool because the employees can compare the actual performance with budgeted performance. So this is the same characteristic which any budget provides you. Then we have uh, the business owners and the management can take a quick decisions because they have now summary budget forms. They can overview the performance uh, by comparing the actual results, the progress with the budgeted results. It's a comprehensive working before the start of the actual time period, so you can fix in advance if you are facing any unusual problem in your future. So it is also used to channelize and control the resources because it provides the coordination between the different departments to optimize the overall wealth or profit of the business, which is the prime objective. So it provides the coordination and it channelizes the resources to accomplish the overall objective. So it is a continuous process. So in this way, it can work as a analytical tools to compare the performance of different accounting periods and to check whether uh, there is an improvement in our planning or not. Disadvantages. So once the budget is prepared, it is pressure on all employees and top level management to achieve the targets which are set in master budget. So if you are using the bottom up approach, in that case there is a possibility that the management intentionally will add up the slacks, like to minimize the pressure on them, which we have discussed in our previous discussion. What is budgetary slack? So it is rigid. It is not easy to modify once it is prepared because it's a too much big document, lot of coordinations with different departments and the calculations and the efforts required. So it is difficult to modify once you have prepared master budget. This was the discussion about today's session. Thank you very much for your time. I believe you will like this lecture and kindly subscribe my YouTube channel to stay tuned to my upcoming lectures. In my next session, I will discuss about cash budget, how to prepare cash budget.